Hey there, beautiful pioneers. I want to make a video about universal cycles and soul rays. Since I mentioned this sometimes, and a few people asked me what this is about. Let me start with saying that a lot of you know that if you watch my videos, that I say that it's not so important to focus on the labels such as indigo, crystal, starseed, and so on. It is more important when you're truly climbing back to your source self as your I am presence to focus on your soul ray. And I received a question, what are soul rays, Polona, and why they are significant? And of course, I'll be from now on, since my webpage is launching tonight, also posting these questions and answers on my webpage. But right now, I want to explain this a bit before I go deeper into the subject through my question and answer section. But the thing is, you have to understand the laws of creation, the nature of creation, source, everything such as that to understand soul rays. Because why is this more important, so to say? Because these terms such as indigo, crystal, starseed, they're more like describing the energy that maybe is a part of your essence, but your soul ray is your eternal self, if you so imagine. So you have your multidimensional selves, you have many higher selves, but then if you connect to your eternal part, that is your I am presence, and soul rays are connected to your I am presence. Let's say that we have one source of all that is, which is there's no gender there, no polarization, but we term to call it Father, Mother, God. We some say central sun, the grand central sun, the source of all life, the source of all creation, of all the matrix of all living things. But within that, we have multiple universes, how they are structured, and everything in its essence is being birthed, through the matrix of all living things, is being polarized. Our first separation from source is always polarization, because everything exists is in this polarization states, of being. Everything has its twin flame counterpart. For instance, we have our twin flame. It's not just a myth, it is a reality, but it's not how many people imagine that to be. So therefore, even universes have their polarizations. Even universes have their, twin flamed, exact equal but polarized opposites. And I'm reading a lot about this now in the book, The Messages from the Founders. I resonate with a lot of the material there. It's not that it's something that's coming from the outer, but it's already my inner knowing. And when I read the book, my hands start buzzing like crazy. And this is when I know that my cells, all of my inner being is being activated. And I get into that activated state. And, I'm in the mode that I just know these things. And when I get these answers from people, I want to answer them, through my being. So, okay, soul rays. So you have to understand the creator. There's the creator, one essence of all that is. It's like the essence of all living things within all creation. And this is not just creation in this universe. There are many parallel universes that are different. We have certain rules that apply to this universe. How the creators who are co-creating with the creator of all living things, with all that is, are creating here in this local, so to say, universe. But you also have, different universes, that different creator, co-creator beings. The founders explained this very well, and I resonate with the statement that when we are created as an individual soul, then, you are an individual soul. But then, above it, you have also your oversoul, and the head oversoul. And, when you move further, you move into godly realms. But all of us are built in the same way. We all carry the same seed of the source because we're made by source. We're all source beings. But not all beings, when they grow through their soul evolution, have the same potential activated. We all have the same potential, the same seed. But it is not activated in the same manner because we have a different soul journey. And this is the freedom to choose. And the law of free will also applies to this universe. And because of this free will, some decisions that were made by the souls that were exploring these realms, built by the creator, co-creator gods to make us enjoy these worlds, these realms, some decisions were not always good, in our terms, in source truth. Everything is neutral. There's no bad, good, worse, better, dark, light. Everything is polarized, but at the same time, because it includes this polarized opposite. It is whole and therefore neutral and complete and no polarization. This is our source nature. So when I say I am presence, this is our source nature. And ascension is about connecting to that I am presence, to your source self, to your God self. So when we think of the terms, connecting to the terms indigo, crystal, starseed, whatever, we are still not connecting to our God self, our source self. But when we think of the term soul ray, we think of the terms how we were created through source, because source emanates its extensions like soul, pulsating energy waves, which come manifested as souls who explore the realm. So actually we have source exploring itself and its limitless capabilities and creative bursts, So therefore, when people, some get very ticked when you mention the terms volunteer souls, why certain souls don't have to be here, but they are anyway when assisting. This is due to the universal cycles, and I'll speak about this further. Just let me finish this. The thing is that there is such a thing like that, and some people might think this is duality, but it's not duality. It's the nature of the spirals, of the spirit, cyclical nature of everything. And of course, because the source is constantly growing, expanding, and new souls are being born, because we have the same seed. We all have the capability to become these co-creator gods, to co-create, but you have to come to the level of that awareness. You have to come on your soul journey to that level of awareness. And founders explained this very well. We all carry the same seed, but we don't have, for instance, that manifested yet here and now. So there are souls who many call volunteer souls, who have more of that like DNA capabilities, divine attributes. I don't know how to call this. Some people might get this, in the wrong idea again, but they have more of that potential, divine attributes kind of potential activated. So therefore they can come and assist through that, because their higher knowing is more activated. That doesn't mean they're higher level, because dimensions are not higher level, higher level or lower level. This is our term of duality thinking, because we term to reference everything with the mind. In source truth, these dimensions are just different because different rules apply to them. Different rules apply to, for instance, in the wheel of reincarnation that is, happening in the third and the fourth dimension up till the fourth. Then we have another rule. We have spiral of upliftment, for instance, that is going on from the fifth dimension and so on. So therefore, you need to understand this from a deeper point of view, But if you become really limited in your thinking, and if you just think in reference to, there's just one God that creates everything, and there's just, limited universe, it's not how it is. And it's just this universe. Look it out there, observe the night sky. This is not all that we can see, but even what we see is boundless. It's limitless. So we all have that capability, but we need to climb there. So when we're being born, like they explain, for instance, I'll try to reference that, we are like children being born from the womb of the mother. So we carry the same DNA, the same potential, but when we grow and evolve, we become like parents, but individual, unique, and we can co-create along with them. So they also explain that we don't just, I always knew this. I have to say this. When I read this, I was like, I knew this. When people say when you die, when you move, where you go back to source, when you finish for instance, when you finish your spiral movement of spirit, your journey, you go back to source, they say no. And I know this is not the case, because what happens, you are always individualized. You will always remain an individualized essence, even when you're, already existing in those realms, when you have the heavenly realms that begin from your soul essence and the oversoul and the head oversoul and so on, and the godly realms, even when you come to the 12th and the universal godly self, you still remain yourself. You become the co-creator along with the rest that already have that, integrated within them and can anchor that and can co-create. So there's the difference between what we understand as co-creation as humans here on Earth and universal co-creation. So you have to understand we all carry the same seed, but when we grow and evolve as souls, this is differently activated. And that's why soul ray is so important. It's important for you to remember your soul journey, how your soul was created, what purpose do you serve, what variation of creation do you serve. When you limit yourself with the terms such as indigo, crystal, star seed, this is for some important on some part of the journey, but not the whole journey. This does not represent your whole soul journey. It's nice to communicate, when you begin. Of course, you won't go immediately to the I am presence. But this is the goal within the Ascension, to remember your godly self. if you just keep thinking that there's all there is, and you just have this soul, and you're just these higher selves that communicate with you, it's not where the journey ends. You have to know you are all, but you're also individualized. And when you activate that level, that you become a co-creator being with the universal co-creation level, you can co-create. You don't just melt back into source and stop existing. Does that not happen that way? And I always felt that, that's why I love that book, because it confirms so many things that I already know. I really read it with discernment, but so many things that resonate. So it really came to me at the right time. And okay, now more about the universal cycles. There are universal cycles, for instance, you have different solar systems, different galaxies revolving around one central point, the grand central sun. So right now, so many speak about the precession of the equinoxes, the 2012, and this is true. The precession of the equinoxes is day 26 approximately. It's more like 25 and 920 or something, 1,000 years. And this is the conclusion, when our system, the Earth, goes through all those 12, for instance, astrological states. And when it's concluded, this is called the precession of the equinoxes, but there you have even bigger and bigger cycles, like you imagine the layers of the onion, they expand outwards, outwardly. So the precession of the equinox is really happening, and it has a three-day period. That's why many people say, 3 days of darkness and things like that, because this was some certain knowledge and awareness that our ancestors gave us, but we interpret it in the ways of thinking in doomsday terms and so on. But it's not. It's really just an adjustment. It's a universal adjustment to the cycle that is happening. So within you, like Mayans know it. We have cycles within the cycles within the cycles. So besides this precession of the equinox, you also have the galactic, like a galactic change, which is a half of the galactic cycle. And the whole galactic cycle is the whole evolution or revolution around the center of the grand central sun, the center of all. So these changes are all scheduled here for Earth. Why is that? So because this is like the decree of the Creator for all those souls who are ready to move on from this wheel of reincarnation, from these sorts of experiencing, which are not lower, just different. These souls that now choose to experience different sets of experiences and move upwards in the spiral of spirit. And that's why these are all in divine order, these galactic changes, precession of the equinoxes, which are tinier like sequences within the galactic change and the galactic cycle. So this is all how it has to be, because the source, if you imagine, if you are all that is, sees all that is. And it's giving, like, through these divine decrees, the opportunities for those souls who are ready. And that's why you also have the volunteers. And there's a lot of divine decrees, divine orders, divine sets of rules. They're not rules. That's why how we see them, but they're not rules. They're like more upliftment methods, ways of assistance. Because some souls that are here are ready to take the next part, the next leap of the journey. And some are not. And it's as good. The source of all living things would never reference something as these deserve, these do not deserve, these are good, these are bad. All are deserving, all are equally loved, and there's no such thing as better or worse, because there's just different setting of experiences. For instance, when we begin our own individualized soul journey on the 7th dimension, when this began, when this cycle in this, for instance, local universe began, we did not all, not all souls were here at the same time, because some were beginner souls who were here since the beginning of the birth of this local universe. And some were birthed through them as they, came to the level of co-creator gods. And they birthed new souls because they had the abilities to extend the creation, because the thing is, creation is ever expanding and it keeps being extended. And all those who think we were all at the same time, all, Big Bang and this is it, they're still limited in their thinking. It is boundless. It is limitless. It's eternal and ongoing. It's a beautiful spiral. And once you really connect back to your source self, you will understand this. You will get pictures and images. For instance, when I read the book, I get images in my own head, which is my I am presence helping me to interpret these words, because words are just words. And even they say that. Read with discernment, because the words are a filter. Every mind, no matter how much you are evolved, you have a mind, and the mind is filtering things. So when a soul You know, for instance, with the beginning of this local universe, when we were deciding where to go, some decided to work in the higher realms, and some wanted to explore the denser, lower realms so the creation could be expanded. There's a, like, if you look at it like a co-creation, a beautiful synchrony and harmony, like a symbiotic relationship between the two. Of course, one group, if you look at it in terms of the group, okay, it's not like that, but one group says, okay, we will go and explore the outer worlds, but you, remaining in the higher, you're create bodies, create vehicles for us, and they did. See, there is no one without the other, so how can you ever think in terms as better or worse? There is no one without the other. There's all equally important in the universe and the multiverses, in the source of all that is. So these universal cycles, they're actually here to support these souls who have decided to move forward in their journey. Those who do not, continue their journey, because the journey is eternal. It is ongoing, just like source is. There is no time limitations, how we perceive them. So it is all good. There is no punishment. There is no sin. Nothing like that. But we just say these things because we have forgotten. Well, not me. I remember it, and that's why I'm here to help you in better remembering yourself. But once you really connect to yourself, you will get these things. You will see them, you will feel them in your being, and you will know, and you'll help others to remember as well. This is how it goes. You know, we're like passing the torch, you know, to one another. And the times are really, we're within an immense quickening. And when one remembers, you know, the others who are still remembering are going to go even faster to that remembrance due to the quickening. And that's why I created, you know, my videos and now the webpage, because I want all of you to better remember and faster remember this cycle, because it's really warping up. So these cycles are here for a reason. They are part of the divine intelligence who knows, and this is what I call the divine plan of perfection, because truly, even though we don't always understand, even myself, why things are the way they are like that for a reason. And the more you remember, the more light DNA you activate within you, and that light DNA is changing your physical being as well. And this is what is happening now. We're transforming. So I hope this answered some of your questions, and I will go more in depth as time passes by, in eternity, always. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.